The Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions is scheduled to open its investigation into the conduct of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan on Thursday next week. Arise News, however, learns that the probe by the Senate Disciplinary Panel will be limited strictly to the allegation of gross ethical misconduct leveled against Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan last week to explain why she refused to comply with a Senate order to relocate to a new seat. The issues of sexual harassment later raised by Akpoti-Uduaghan against the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, now pending in court, may not be entertained by the Ethics Committee. The embattled senator is canvassing for a live coverage of the probe. More so, ahead of the sitting, is a question on the mind of most Nigerians on having a fair hearing and final resolution and recommendation by the Committee on Ethics. Joining us now on this show is the Senate Committee Chairman on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions, Senator Neda Imasuen. Thank you very much for joining us, Senator Imasuen. You're welcome to the morning show.
Thank you very much.
Well, Senator.
Thank you, Dr. Abati.
Senator, I think the question that Nigerians are worried about, it's fairly straightforward. Now, this Ethics and Privileges Committee getting into the matter, what exactly is at stake? Why is it that the main issue that Nigerians are interested in, the cocodry, sexual, salacious allegations, is not what your committee wants to look into, but rather the issue about sitting position? We need clarification in that regard. And what are the privileges that Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan may probably be entitled to in terms of privilege? After all, parliamentary work is covered by certain privileges.
Okay, like I said, it is with reluctance that I'm appearing on your show today. You can appreciate that, Dr. Abati, you've been a lawyer yourself. I'm the Chairman, Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petition. And the matter you just spoke about is before me. And so I cannot and I will not comment on such matters, outside the committee hearing, especially when the issue is still before us. You can appreciate why that is the case. Whether or not distinguished Senator Natasha has privileges, of course she has privileges, just like any other senator, and her privileges will be protected, and she will get a fair hearing in this matter.
Okay, Senator, I don't know whether what you have said is helpful to our viewers, but the issue is there are two things on the table. Sitting arrangement, if you could enlighten us about that. Is it standard practice for the Senate to just say, oh, don't sit there, we have changed the sitting arrangement? And then this thing about sex in the Senate, cocodry in the Senate. I mean, you can comment generally on that without prejudice.
Well, Dr. Abati, you...
Please go ahead.
Dr. Abati, again, thank you. The issue of sex in the Senate is already before a law court, I believe. And that makes the whole conversation sub judice. I cannot be commenting on any matter that is before a law court of competent jurisdiction. Like I said, that would be sub judice. And as a lawyer myself, I have to respect that privilege that a court has over matters that is before it. So I don't have any opinion on that. I really can't comment on this sex allegation that you're speaking about. On the city arrangement, again, that is the crux of the matter before us in the committee, I can only direct you to Order 6 of our order book, which regulates the activities in the Senate. And it tells you right there that seats are allocated to senators, just like our offices. My office was allocated to me. I didn't have to choose any office. You are sworn in, you come into the National Assembly, and you are given your office, and your seat arrangements already given to you. And from time to time, of course, anything can happen within the chambers that may necessitate a reallocation of seats. That's all I can say on that matter.
All right, thank you, Senator Imasuen. Good to see you on the show. Thanks for your time with us today. So the only court, I think the only matter before the court that I'm aware of, I'll come back.
Okay. Senator, please, couple of things. As you're a lawyer, as regards the sexual harassment matter, you also know that that case was not a case of defamation filed by the Senate President's wife. It doesn't border on the determination, you can correct me if I'm wrong, on sexual harassment. The motions I saw was as regards stoppage of, defamation. So we can talk generally as regards interplay between male and female senators in the Senate. And I also refer you to the case of Iretiola Kingibe, which she had a tiff back and forth in the Senate. So there have been many cases of, the rights of women trampled upon in the Senate. What's your outlook on this matter? These are general matters. What's your outlook on this matter?
Well, we were 4 female senators in this 10th Assembly. And I will tell you straight up that I'm very close to at least 3 of them. I sit next to Senator Ireti Kingibe, and I consider her as a friend. The issue that you're speaking about, again, does not border on sexual harassment against her. Again, it's a matter of privilege. I don't also think that is directed to any individual because of their sex. If I were to give you my own experience, there are many occasions that I also would complain, and I do complain. Because there are times I raise up my hands and the Senate President does not recognize me, and he recognizes someone that is behind me, and I'm wondering why is that so? But he cannot entertain every individual or every senator at a sitting who have an opinion on any matter that is on the floor. And so it is his prerogative. I don't believe that he does so because of the sex of the senator. I really do not believe that. The Senate President, in my opinion, which I will give based on what happens on the floor, has not, in my opinion, made any sexual remarks to any of the female senators. And I don't think that any of the female senators have also complained about sexual harassment against him or anybody. We joke a lot in the Senate. I must let you know that. The Senate is not, I don't know how to say it, but the Senate is a place where we all converge to discuss about the matters that affect the country, 1. 2, after a while, having, sit in the Senate for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 1 year, you understand that there will be familiarity of some sort where we even call each other by first name. I remember when we first got to the Senate, we addressed each other by Mr. or Miss, and so on and so forth. But now we call each other by first name because we see each other every day in the chambers. We sit close to each other, and we also confer with one another. And so if the familiarity is what it is that is considered some sort of harassment, I don't know. But for me, I do not think that that the conduct of the Senate President on the floor is such that is against the female in the chambers. I do not think so.
Speaking as regards the conduct of the Senate President, there was a time before he even became Senate President where he also called for his privileges to be respected in the time where Bukola Saraki was Senate President. And we all saw that on occasion, how it went then. And, you know, the Senate President, too, in the spirit of joke, has also made many very funny jokes. You remember the jokes of prayers to your account or email addresses? Maybe, Senator, you might tell me what those prayers were about to your email addresses. The issue of the 9th Club, you know. And what we saw as regards how, you know, Senator Ireti Kingibe was shouted down, and you were pretty much saying, no, that's not the case, that you sit close to her. And she has also come to grant an interview. But I also want you to tell me more about Order 10, you know, privileges of a senator, which I sort of think is like your filibuster like they have in America in the Senate here, that when you have something pertinent to say, at least you should be accorded that right of saying it. You know, you want to tell me more about that?
Well, like I said before, every senator has that privilege to speak, but you also have to be recognized. In the Senate, there's order. You can imagine 109 senators, if we were to speak as at when we want to speak, we'll all become barbarians because there will be no order. And so the person that has the gavel to bring about this order is the Senate President. It's his responsibility to conduct the Senate in an appropriate manner. Talking about the jokes, I think that is one of the qualities that the Senate President has. You may not know, but there are many occasions where it is very tense in the Senate over issues, and then he cracks the joke and we all relax, laugh over it, and then move on. Yes, you might say that he might have some jokes too far. Yeah, I acknowledge that. But without his that personality that he has to be able to douse certain situations that are so tense, maybe you would have been having fights in the Senate. But that does not happen because, again, it's the Senate, and two, the conduct of the Senate President is such that it's able to manage the personalities there in the Senate. And I just imagine Ruben. Ruben, let me make this point. Yeah. Ruben, just imagine that you are presiding over an assembly that has probably about 6, 7, 8 former governors, ministers, and all, you know, type of senators there. It's not easy. Okay. You know, you have to use all sort of tacts and you know, to be able to control the Senate.
Senator Imasuen, thank you so much, and for just explaining to us in better detail the character of the Senate President, that is quite a jovial leader. But do you think that there are some jokes that might be taken a bit too far? In the course of joking, is there any time where a joke is too much? Aside from that, what you're saying this morning is that you absolve the Senate President of any wrongdoing because he must have been joking. To this end, how fair would tomorrow's, tomorrow Thursday's Ethics Committee meeting be to Senator Akpotiuduaghan, especially because she's asking for a live coverage as a result of her not feeling that that the process would be fair. And from what you've said today, you've already made the assumption that the Senate President is without wrongdoing, so he's in the right. What are the guarantees that she would get a fair hearing if it's not live covered? So the first thing is that, are there any jokes, in your opinion, that might be a bit too far or misconstrued? And number two, would she get fair hearing, especially because you have already opined as chairman of that committee that the Senate president is without fault?
I'm sorry, Harry, just to comment. We just got a letter that you've rescheduled the public hearing to Wednesday, 5th March 2025, 2 p.m. prompt, meeting room 120, New Senate Building, National Assembly. Can you confirm that to us, that you've rescheduled the public hearing to today?
Confirmed. Yeah, confirmed. Yes, confirmed.
Right. Okay, so later on today, you'll be seeing Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan. So the first question, sir, around jokes, even at that level, especially because he wants to douse tension, are there some jokes that could be taken a bit too far? And then second, would she get a fair hearing, especially since you've said here on TV as chairman of the committee that he's without wrongdoing?
Well, let me start with the second question. Will Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan get a fair hearing? I can assure you that as long as I'm the chairman of that committee, that she is going to get a fair hearing. She's my friend. I don't know if I should say that here. No one is going to trample upon her right or upon the right of any other person. You will have a fair hearing. She will have a fair hearing. And the issue of having the media, we also want to be very careful so that we don't overplay this, because it's a matter within the Senate. It's a Senate matter, it's a Senate issue. To make it such a media blaze or media affair, that may be even distractive to us. My committee room, it can only take so many people, not many. And the committee has about 24, 25 members in the committee. And so we want to be focused. We want to be focused on the issue before us and not to be distracted by any other issue. Yes, she's going to have a fair hearing. I can assure you that.
First question around jokes.
On the matter of joke taken too far, I'm sure you're also referring to the joke of the nightclub. Yes, the Senate President is a human being. He recognized that, and then he came out publicly to apologize on the floor of the Senate. I thought, and I believe that should have ended that conversation right there. Yes, I'm sure that the Senate President has been able to conduct himself in a manner that would not be misinterpreted as condescending to anyone. I'm Senator for Labour Party, and I could also complain that I'm denied the privilege to speak on the floor when I want to speak, and that has happened many times. But I don't attribute it to because I'm a minority party or something of that nature. Like I said before, 109 senators, we all have an opinion on matters. And if you allow 109 senators to air their opinions on any matter, I think we'll be sitting for 24 hours at any given time. And that is not possible. So please, I will use this opportunity to also ask that everybody should be patient and allow us to do the work that we are supposed to do, and assure you that there will be fairness and we will strictly adhere to the rules that apply to us.
Okay, thank you very much, Senator Imasuen. Well, look, we just all want fairness, justice, and I'm sure many Nigerians this thing about comedy in the Senate. We're more concerned about the integrity of the Senate. As the former Senate President, Senator Bukola Saraki, has pointed out, and other persons have also expressed, if we want a house of comedy, maybe we should fill the place with Ali Baba, Bengadi Yinka, Omo Baba Muko, so that they can go there and be cracking jokes. But what we really need is a serious-minded National Assembly, where the major issues about making laws for the good governance of Nigeria, is what the senators focus upon. Well, we don't have comedians in the house, so, well.